Sejam todos bem-vindos para o Mês Fest. Mais uma vez é um prazer estar com todos vocês. Eu espero que vocês se divirtam hoje e a gente tem a honra de estar trazendo essas duas personalidades que estão nossos amigos, sempre fizeram parte um pouco da Maze. Jeff, please, and Koston, come here. Por favor, salvas de palmas calorosas para eles.
What's up? Hello, everybody. What's up? What's up, Eric? Woo!
There it is.
How's it feel to watch a video like that of yourself? Have you seen that before?
I haven't seen it in a while. I don't know. I don't watch too many
Really?
videos of myself, actually, but it's cool. I mean, it's good. It's just, when I watch it, I think of, like, the trips and the travel and the places we went to and who I was hanging out with.
Yeah.
The good times.
Do you look at, oh, we got kids in the house. Do you look at your own tricks and like examine it? Like, are you thinking like, oh man, I could have done that better?
Oh yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah. Definitely. I'm pretty critical of that.
Right.
But sometimes it's you know.
Yeah.
It can't be perfect, but yes, I do look at things. And,
Yeah.
oh, I landed that. Look at my gear. What was I thinking? Like, oh, those shoes look sick. I remember those. You know. But
Yeah. There was a couple of shots in there where you fell and wiped out, and I feel like one of the best attributes of being a good skater is actually knowing how to fall, because like you fall with more grace than others.
For the most part.
Are you a better faller?
Yeah, I think that's something that's really important. Is like knowing how to fall.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it's kept me, you know, for the most part, pretty healthy over all this time.
What's the worst injury you've sustained? Have you broken anything?
Like dislocated a finger.
Wow,
Bad ankle sprains.
that's nothing.
And then my
Dislo-
knee, yeah.
Wow.
I've been pretty.
You need some wood to knock on. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Some people call you, and I think a lot of people in this room would agree, like the Michael Jordan of skateboarding, which is pretty fucking incredible.
Yeah, that's a heavy one to live up to.
Yeah, I mean, if you were like the Michael Jordan of like anything, like I could be the Michael Jordan of napping, and I'd be amazing, you know. But like,
I wish I was a Michael Jordan.
how do you, right? How do you feel like trying to live up to that moniker and that title?
I don't know. I don't think about that moniker and trying to live up to it because, like I said, that's a tall order.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I guess continue to do me.
Uh-huh.
You know.
Yeah.
But I definitely don't think about that. I'm like, oh, I gotta be the Michael Jordan of skateboarding.
It's too much pressure.
Yeah. It's a lot of pressure.
I want to take it back to the beginning a little bit, all the way to the beginning. And you were actually born in Bangkok, right?
Yeah.
How did that happen? How were you born in Bangkok and then end up in Cali?
My dad was in the Air Force.
Okay.
Stationed there.
Uh-huh.
And that's where he met my mom.
Yeah.
I was born there, but I didn't live. I only lived there for 8-9 months,
Mm-hmm.
and then moved to California.
Okay. And when was the first time you put your feet on a skateboard?
The first time I was around 10 years old,
Mm-hmm.
but I just kind of messed around on it, and then I didn't really get into it till I was about 11.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And when you say get into it, like, were you immediately, like, obviously good at it?
No. I remember learning how to just like ride off a curb,
Mm-hmm.
small curb by my house, and then learning how to ollie in my driveway.
Yeah.
I remember just hours kind of just by myself, putting my wheels like in a crack in my driveway so my board wouldn't roll.
Uh-huh.
So it wouldn't
You have a
fall,
track, yeah.
So I could stay still and just learn how to ollie. Just because I wanted to ollie. And
Right.
I wanted to be able to skate fast enough to go and ollie up a curb where I didn't have to get off my board and pick it up because I thought that was like, I'm a poser.
Uh-huh.
That's embarrassing. Like, I got to learn how to ollie up a curb so I can keep moving, you know?
And this is like 11? This is like 11 years
Yeah,
old?
like 11.
When did you realize, like, you were excelling above and beyond other people around you? When did you get a knack for it?
I don't know. I just started to happen kind of, I guess, started, once I learned tricks.
Yeah.
This is like in the mid-'80s, so tricks were, I feel like, a lot easier. There's a little bit more, there's simpler times, I
Right.
guess. But I feel like, yeah, it just started to happen.
Uh-huh.
Once I learned one trick, then I learned another trick. And
Yeah.
then it just kept going. I don't
Right.
know, it was an obsession.
I guess I'm like sort of comparing it to, like, if you're on a basketball court, right, and you see like just a bunch of kids playing, and there's one kid that just doesn't miss, and you're like, it's sort of markedly obvious that like, oh, someone needs to like draft him.
Yeah.
Was it like that with you, where like you have a whole bunch of kids skating in the park, and you're just nailing everything that you're trying to do? Was it like that?
Not necessarily like in one place.
Yeah.
It was the way I got sort of hooked up and started getting sponsors was like a friend of a friend who
Mm-hmm.
was a professional. His name was Eddie O'Gara, and fortunately, he lived in San Bernardino where I grew up.
Yeah.
And my other friend Tony skated with him a lot, and then I started hanging out with Eddie, and he started giving me his like used boards, and then started giving me new ones, and was flowing me stuff.
Yeah.
So, and it kind of progressed from there. And he helped me get on the company, which is H Street,
Okay.
and that was my first sponsor. And Eddie O'Gara was the one who kind of ushered me in.
Mm-hmm. And sponsor meaning you just got free stuff?
Yeah, just free stuff. Yeah.
Okay.
So just free boards and
Right.
clothes.
And when that happened, were you like, I made it.
Yeah.
I did it. Like,
Oh, yeah. I was was tripping.
Yeah.
It was pretty surreal because, and H Street at the time was like my favorite brand
Okay.
too. So it was because it had a lot of. It's a very progressive company.
Yeah.
The guys on the team were very, very like. I didn't think I was, worthy of being
Right.
on H Street. I was, and I think it probably helped even push me even more because
Yeah.
it was like that was something that I had to live up to. I felt
Right.
like.
Right. How old were you then? When
Um,
H Street started flowing you?
15.
Okay. Growing up was, just because we mentioned being born in Bangkok and your mother being Asian, so you're half Asian, did race ever play a role growing up, like just dealing with that? Like,
No, no.
no.
Race, no, because
Cali's pretty diverse, right, I guess?
what's that?
Cali is like just pretty diverse.
Yeah,
in
where I
general.
grew up is pretty diverse
Yeah.
too. Yeah. So I never really dealt with anything from a race standpoint.
Like no one ever said like, you're Asian, so you can't be like an athlete or be a skater.
No. It was more, I think it was more of a point of kind of when it got into high school, skateboarding wasn't that cool.
Mm-hmm.
It was also starting, the popularity was starting to like decline as well. It was more about people just like jocks and gangsters like vibing me
Yeah.
being a skater.
Right.
That was the most,
Yeah.
anything sort of close to racism I can experience is like
That's like
skateboardism.
Social
Skatism.
classism.
Yeah, sorry.
Skatism.
There was a time that it was not cool.
When-
and it was
when you say it
five
was, like-
skaters in high school.
When you said it was like falling on popularity, you mean it was from like the initial huge popularity,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, because in the mid '80s when I started, it was pumping like
Mm-hmm.
everybody like. It was a lot of people
Movies,
did
yeah,
it.
like
It was in
music
movies,
videos.
yeah, exactly. It was Gleaming the Cube and
Yeah.
Thrashing. And
Yep.
So
And then it sort of became like corny for a bit of time.
yeah.
Did you ever think like, oh man, I'm gonna hang it up. This is like pretty corny.
No,
No,
not
okay.
when it looked bad. It was funny. Like right when I turned pro, when I was just like, oh, I'm finally making money skateboarding.
Yeah.
There was no money in it. There was nothing. It was small. It was kind of going through an evolution of like extremely technical skateboarding, and it was slow. And the board was just flipping and bouncing around on the ground, and probably people couldn't understand it.
Yeah.
And it just didn't look that good. You know,
Right.
if you look back at it, you're like, wow, that was some
Yeah.
rough times.
Right. Is that when it was like full on knee pad, elbow pad, helmet, like?
No, that was when although it's kind of coming back now, it was like huge pants that were like maroon, chinos, like fuck pants that were like cutting off. And I was, I'm wearing size 40s.
Yeah.
And
It's like it looks like you're going to a rave.
like extra large T-shirts, but that were even longer than an extra large, and we were just draped in
Yeah.
cotton and skating slow and hats like this.
right. So you stuck through it.
Yeah.
You mentioned like you started to actually make some money. Who was like your early paying sponsors?
Well, H Street
H
was
Street.
the one I turned pro. Yeah,
Okay.
I turned pro for, yes. And then shortly after I turned pro, I left them and went to a company that was not as Copus, his company, 101.
Okay.
But nobody really probably knows about that brand anymore.
I want to break it down a little bit because I think, me, I'm not like from skateboarding, so I'm looking at it from the outside. And then I think a lot of young people here who are really good skateboarders but are not a pro or don't have a deal. What does it entail to first get sponsored just to get gear and then advance that into getting like a check out of it? Talk us through like that whole process.
Well, in this day and age, it's a lot easier for you to be seen and circulated through social network, YouTube. And that's kind of how it's, really that's the changing. Back when I was doing it, it was actually through competition.
Okay.
I had to do well in competitions, enough in amateur competitions that then
People would
enter
notice.
a pro contest. Yeah, and those days are gone. That is some way for some guys, but there's also you can do it just by filming video parts and getting coverage.
Yeah.
And now that stuff, like if you stand out through your social channels, people will find you now.
Yeah.
So
Right.
kids are pretty lucky that, it's just like readily available right here on my phone.
Right. Right.
They can, but yeah, you just gotta
Okay.
kind of do you. And now, I mean, but there's a lot. So it's kind of, there's some originality that needs to be, put out there.
Right. The problem is, even though it's easy for you because you have the technology in your phone, so does everyone else.
So does everyone else.
Yeah.
And it's oversaturated. It's
Right.
So standing out is something that is, and I don't know what that is. I don't know. There's no secret sauce. Everyone just has
Their own way.
their
Yeah.
own way.
Would you say now it's more important to have better skill or better style?
I always think it's better to have better style
Okay.
over skill.
Style in your skate or
In your
style
s-
in your look, like your brand?
I think style in your skating. Then look. That
Yeah.
kind of comes and goes.
But on Instagram, I'll see like a dude skating in like the latest off-whites or whatever, and then all of a sudden that guy's like viral.
yeah.
So that's like style because of how he
of their
brands
gear.
himself.
Yeah, they're rocking crazy Balenciaga shoes.
Right,
and,
right.
Like skating a skate park. But
Yeah. You still
people
have to
are
be good.
attracted to that. Yeah,
Yeah.
because it looks. Whoa, that guy. Shouldn't be skating in that. So I think that's more of the shock
Right.
value. But I think it's a lot more important to have the way you skate.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, so let's say kid takes your advice, he does his job, he gets out there, he builds his Instagram, social media, he has a style, he gets a following, and then if he's doing his job right, the DMs will start, they're gonna hit you up via DM,
Pretty much.
right? And they're gonna be like, hey, I have a bed sheet company, can I send you some bed sheets, right? It's gonna be
Yeah.
like that.
Yes.
So what's your advice from that point? Like, should you just take everything that every single company hits you up about?
I've kind of never gone about it that way, but I can't speak on everyone's behalf. But yeah, I would say be selective. Do support if a brand that you're into wants to get behind you, kind of maybe be patient for that. If you feel like you're going to take something purely for the money and you don't feel good about it, obviously there's something wrong there.
Yeah,
so, I mean, your instinct usually will tell you if you're being a sellout or not.
Yeah. With H Street and them finally giving you money, was that something that you asked for or they offered?
They offered when they put out a pro model for me.
Nice.
I made a little bit of royalties off of it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's how it works in skate.
Yeah, a lot
you
of it
get
is-
gear,
yeah.
and then they offer you a pro model, which then gets you money, and then you could call yourself a pro.
Yes.
That's it.
Pretty much. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
A company can pretty much.
I'm just making sure.
They put a board out with your name on it. You're pro.
Okay.
That's kind of that is the benchmark.
Yeah.
Is the board.
Isn't it? I mean, again, this is me maybe sounding naive, but isn't it almost just as easy nowadays for you to just start your own brand?
I did. I started my own brand. No.
Right. Okay. So let's talk
but
about
it
that.
is. There are a lot of brands out there.
Yeah.
And you could technically start your own company and turn yourself pro.
Right? Yeah, because you could just make a skate deck and a T-shirt, and now you have a brand.
Yep.
Yep.
It's pretty.
So let's talk a little bit about that. Your first brand that you sort of started and helped co-found, what was it?
4-Star?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was myself and Guy Mariano. And that was run through Girl.
Uh-huh.
And that was the whole idea behind it, was because there weren't many skate apparel brands. And we were spending so much time and money at Polo and Tommy Hilfiger and Eddie Bauer and all that stuff, and we were like, why don't we make this cargo pant?
Yeah.
But flip it like this, and maybe use this other pocket we see, and like let's try to make this anorak that Eddie Bauer does, but I don't like these. So we started modifying basically the stuff we were buying, and like, oh, let's do that, that polo shirt, like,
right.
and so on and so on, and that was just kind of like digging in our closets and sort of manipulating it the way we would like to have it as sort of more our vibe and more skate specific too. Right. Even things that you were thinking like technical. We're like nylon pants, like that had vents so they could breathe.
Right.
Things
simple
like that.
Stuff, but like made for you guys.
Yeah.
Right. Was it a good business decision? Like, were you making more money having your own brand than being sponsored by a clothing company?
No. Probably. As far as the business decision, maybe not the great.
Why is that? Because you had to put money in?
Yeah. I mean, it's hard to take money from it when you're constantly putting money back into it, because apparel is expensive. You want to make it good.
Yeah.
It costs money, and so we didn't take a lot of money because we had to put it back in to keep it going.
Right.
And like I probably could have rode for Quicksilver and made a
way more. Yeah.
boatload of cash, but I might not feel too good about myself. It was a creative outlet, another one. So
you took the money that you put into it. Was it made from your other sponsorship deals and just what competitions you were winning?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you'd win comps, get money, get sponsors, get money, and then
Flip
put it into
the brand,
4-star and lose money there.
And lose money. I mean, we made some money, but we didn't make a lot. We didn't make a lot.
Right.
And because there were bigger apparel brands.
Who were the big ones then?
I feel like I said, there was that was a little bit later, but like Quicksilver and like Volcom, even something even though they're very surf.
Yeah, but they were in there. Yeah.
Yeah, and the other guys that were kind of on the smaller side were like 4-star and Alpha Numeric.
Was Zoo York there yet?
Zoo, they weren't so heavily into the apparel side of things. They were more of a board brand. At that point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you were were you showing at ASR, for example?
Yeah.
Okay.
We'd be showing it.
ASR was like the big skate trade show in San Diego and Long Beach. But yeah, so you were trying to sell the skate shops and doing the whole thing.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. That's a real business.
It is.
Yeah. And now back then, who was your shoe sponsor back then?
S.
Okay. How was your days at S?
Those were it was great because I was able to, it's my first signature shoe. And that was another thing I was super into. I'd been collecting sneakers for a long time, and then I was able to actually design one. And the Koston 1 from S that came out in 1997.
Legendary shoe.
And that thing, and it was cool. It was cool that I was able to I just drew it. I just drew I had a bunch of shoes that I like. I like this panel.
Yeah.
This sole, this midsole, that tooling, this tread pattern, that texture on the rubber,
right.
Every little bit.
Yeah.
And I just kind of cobbled it together, and I just drew it.
Right. And coming from me, street world, sneaker world, hip hop world, that was one of the first skate shoes that crossed over, where it hit my radar, even though I wasn't skating. So that was a big shoe,
I started to notice people that did not skate wearing my shoe, and that was definitely was a trip.
Yeah. And was that also royalty? You just got a percentage of sales, so that you did good on that one.
Those days are great. Those were good days, because
Were you an owner of the company?
No.
Okay.
No.
All right. I thought you made so much money that they just had to give you a piece of the company or something.
No. They didn't.
That's good. So then why leave S? Why did you decide to depart?
That ownership.
What?
I wanted to I wanted to,
You wanted a stake in the company.
I was getting older, and I was like, yeah, I want a
Yeah.
stake in it, so I just feel like I'm committed. This is where I'm at, and
Right.
that was something that's how Lakai came about.
Okay.
And that was always there when they started, but I was like, I can't leave.
Mm-hmm.
When they actually started Lakai, they wanted to bring me in
As equity.
as an equity partner, but also
Okay.
skateboarder.
And at the time, was your pro models like a significant portion of S's business? I would assume so. Like,
I mean, I think so. For the most part,
Yeah.
it was a pretty good amount of it.
Right.
There were other guys. They did have shoes, but I would say, to some degree, it was a pretty good amount of their business.
okay, so then you got frustrated that they weren't giving you more that you wanted.
A little bit, yeah. I was thinking also like more job security too. Like I'm getting older. Like what am I? I'd like to have something that I'm going to be working on when I can't skate. And
Yeah.
What if there was there was a person that they eventually kicked off because he wasn't kind of
Yeah.
living up to what their expectations, and I was like, that's going to happen to me? Mm-hmm. Shit, I better figure something out.
Right.
I don't want to wait for that to happen to me. I better do something. I better be proactive about it.
Right. Smart.
Sort of.
Did you have an agent or
'Cause-
anything?
'cause
Did you have a manager or an agent?
I
like on your
kinda
side?
had one. Yeah, I sort of do now, but those days I didn't.
Those days you just had to
just
try to
handled
get a
my own.
meeting with the owners and be like, negotiate this deal for
but those were
yourself.
friends, and that's why they're also they're close, and didn't have to get a meeting. It was like, hey, contract's up, and they through the offer's still here. You guys,
Right.
we're going to give up our piece of the pie for you if you want
Right,
to come
right.
over here. But that was
Okay.
So that's what brought me over there.
To Lakai.
Yeah.
Okay.
Made less money, put money into it.
Yeah.
Tough business decisions. Yeah.
Okay. And then of course.
Owning footwear is and I learned quickly how expensive it is, and
Right.
a lot.
And then of course the swoosh comes calling. Was that a tough decision to go from Lakai to Nike?
No, it wasn't. I had, like I said, it was tough learning the business of it, but it wasn't necessarily that. I was definitely committed to sticking it out with Lakai, but there were other partners that were not. Were making it hard.
Yeah.
I'll tell you, making it really hard.
Okay.
And
But-
so that's where I didn't. The call from Nike didn't come before that. I just left.
Oh, okay.
I left Lakai. I just said I'm
Oh.
not gonna. If we're gonna butt heads and this is the way it's gonna operate, and you're not gonna move, or we can't kind of extract you guys.
Yeah.
I gave my ownership.
yeah,
back
gave it
to him
back.
and walked out the door. Basically.
So there was a brief moment where you didn't have like a shoe deal. Okay. And then how long was that time?
4 months or so.
Okay. That's dope. That's fast.
Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah. So then when.
But remind us when Nike called you, what was the state and reputation of Nike in skateboarding at the time? I'm just
Oh.
trying to remember, like, they had
For
already,
SB?
they did
already-
SB, right?
Yeah, so it was already, this was kind of, I feel like after like the big, a little bit slightly post dunk boom,
Okay,
when the dunk was like,
yeah,
it was
It
a
came
little
back.
bit
Yeah,
after.
okay.
It was like kind of, had gone kind of, not away totally, but it was not as crazy it was from 2002 to like 2006.
yeah. Did you have reservations about, like, the sellout?
I did, because I had my hesitations about Nike, because I thought, okay, because of the first time they actually came into skateboarding, and it was before SB, and it was a really bad attempt, and then they trashed it. And rightly so, actually, it was pretty bad.
Yeah.
They should have could
They should, yeah.
have dumped it and reset it like they did.
Yeah.
But when you're younger and you see that, you're like, oh, the big corporate monster,
Yeah,
they're gonna throw you guys away like a piece of trash,
Yep.
like I had that same
Fear.
That same fear.
Yeah.
And because I didn't know.
right.
And later on I started to meet the guys that are had, kind of close friends on the inside there. I was like other guys that even rode for the same companies as me, like Brian Anderson. He was on, and I was always super envious of all the shoes he got to skate in.
Yeah.
Even when I was like on Lakai or even S, I was like, damn, those dunks are so sick.
Yeah.
Like, they look so cool. And I collected them.
Right.
I've been collecting Nikes, like all the shoes I designed, even in S, for like, I was knocking off cross trainers, Jordan 12s, Jordan 3s, like all sorts of different, you know.
That's dope. So
Nike,
it was kind of like a dream come true on the low.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was.
Right.
When the opportunity was there, yes, it was.
Nice.
For sure.
How do you feel now about Maze Fest is kind of like indicative of this, but like the intersection of skate and street and like all the cultures like just colliding right now? Is it like surprising to you, or did you see the writing on the wall?
Well, it's crazy that it's become more, it's bigger, but it's always been, those cultures have always collided. It just hasn't been sort of, I guess, celebrated like this.
Yeah, right.
But
it's always been around.
It's always been around. We've been hanging with, graffiti artists and other
like genres.
other early streetwear brands that before they were called streetwear.
Yeah, totally.
So, hanging out at those stores like 555 Soul, you think about like back in like LA and getting like mixtapes and like all that stuff. That stuff was, we didn't know what it was called. It was just, this shit's fresh.
Right,
yeah,
totally.
It's so funny, but like, so it's always been around. It's just now it seems to be much more
elevated, celebrated. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. All right. That's all the time we have. Thanks a lot, Eric, for your time. Everyone give him a round of
Obrigado.
applause. Thank you, sir.